On January 2nd, 2024, two passenger jets collided on a runway in Japan after a powerful earthquake. In this video, we're going to take a look into how and why these two jets collided and what happened afterwards. Stay tuned as we uncover a number of previously unreported details regarding the collision. The 379 passengers aboard Japan Airlines Flight 516 were quickly evacuated when their aircraft caught fire shortly after landing at Tokyo's Haneda Airport on the 2nd of January. The entire evacuation process took only 18 minutes. Using the same runway, a smaller Coast Guard Bombardier Dash 8 plane was getting ready to take off in order to bring emergency relief to central Japan affected by the earthquake when the two crashed. 5 of the crew members of the Coast Guard boat perished, but the captain managed to escape with burns. A legal clearance to land on runway 34R had been given to the Japan Airlines aircraft, according to available information. The Coast Guard aircraft may have been sitting on the runway when the Japan Airlines pilots saw it, or they may have not noticed it at all until just before a crash. The Japan Airlines Airbus A350 establishes communication with airport traffic control 4 minutes before to landing, according to transcripts of the recorded conversations that were made public by the Transport Ministry on January 3rd at 5:43 p.m.
Japan 5 and 6, continue with 34 right.
The Japan Airlines jet is told by traffic control 2 minutes later that it is permitted to land on runway 34R, and the pilot reports that it is cleared to land. A mere 10 seconds later, the Coast Guard plane in transit discloses its identity, notifying traffic control of its presence on the taxiway leading to the runway. The traffic controller promptly directs it to taxi to holding point C5 before the runway and grants it the coveted number 1 departure priority. Confirming the instruction, the Bombardier pilot reiterates and expresses gratitude with a concise number 1 thank you. Surprisingly, there is no further communication from the traffic controllers with either the Japan Airlines flight or the Coast Guard aircraft during the subsequent 2 minutes leading up to the crash. Even as they engage in communication with the 2 other flights, the Japan Airlines flight lands directly behind the Coast Guard aircraft at 5:47 p.m., just 40 seconds after the Bombardier is spotted on the runway. It collides with it, shooting an orange flame into the night sky. The A350, spewing gray smoke and covered in flames, proceeds down the runway for almost 1 kilometer, or 0.62 miles, before coming to a stop, where fire engines and rescue personnel rush to put out the fire. Meanwhile, a much smaller Bombardier immediately catches fire. How is this possible? The bright runway lights could obscure the visibility of wingtip lights in unexpected locations. The Coast Guard plane, being relatively small, might not have been easily noticeable. Additionally, the Airbus windshield likely displayed a heads-up display of the landing path, potentially obscuring weak lights on the runway. It seems the controller may have not warned the crew about any previously departing traffic or other potential complications. Despite the intense situation, the airline crew efficiently coordinated the evacuation of all passengers. As the 5 other doors were declared dangerous, the flight attendants continuously advised passengers to remain calm and leave their stuff behind as they made their way towards the nearest of the 3 operable emergency exits, 2 forward and 1 on the back. Preliminary reports suggested that there might have been some injuries among those on the Airbus, but remarkably, all 347 passengers and 12 crew members seemingly emerged from the incident unharmed. Approximately 20 minutes after the collision, with everybody safely disembarked, the colossal Japan Airlines Airbus succumbed to the flames and was entirely consumed by fire, ultimately leading to its destruction. The swift and organized response of the airline crew played a crucial role in ensuring the safety of the passengers and crew during this challenging ordeal. This could have been a much larger disaster if the Airbus had not withstood the initial impact, if it had caught fire right away, if the flight crew had not been able to slow the aircraft down and steer it along the runway following the collision, or if the cabin crew had not calmed the passengers and helped them evacuate the aircraft. That's all for today. What are your views about this incident? And who do you think is responsible for this incident? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button for more content like this.